we good? We're good. Yes. All right. Here we go. So what I want to cover out is how to repair problems and how to kind of create problems that you need in order to do this. Again, not all of you are going to need this, but everyone eyes up here real quick. Real quick. So you might have a situation, first of all, everyone look up here. So when I had my cockpit done, I cut it in half, and then I extruded out like the tail and the base of it, and it gave me these extra faces here. You don't have to delete them right now, but if you want to, you're just going to be deleting those faces here. You could save that to the end till right before you're about to merge, but you will eventually have to delete them. It's always going to happen if you extrude out from a point like this. So if I wanted to extrude out a thruster or something, like so, I'm always going to have that piece there, okay? So don't sweat it if it's not bothering you, but some people really bothers you, so you're just going to have to make sure whenever you extrude out from the edges on the lip, you're going to have to delete those faces on the inside panel right there. Got it? That's number one. Okay, let's get to the main task at hand. I need a hole or a cutout here, but you don't want to have a hole that goes all the way through. You want to make sure that hole gets closed. Otherwise, it's going to look really funky. We're going to practice this several times. So here's what I suggest you do. If ever you're deleting faces, delete the fewest amount of possible. So I could think to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the ones on the opposite side. But that's leaving me a pretty big hole to repair. I'd rather make a hole smaller, 1, 2, and then move this around to make it work, okay? So if you ever think about deleting some faces, make sure you pick the minimal amount you feel like you need. So instead of picking instead of picking 6, I'm picking about 3. So everyone look up here. I'm going to delete these faces. Let me explain the problem. You never want to have something like this. This is bad, okay? This means not watertight. What do you mean watertight? That means if I were to turn this over on its side, right? If I were to turn this over on its side, like that, and pour water into it, it would hold water. You never want holes in your model. Never. Okay, almost never. There's going to be a few exceptions to that, just like you can have a triangle or a quad or an n-gon at some point. But, so if you delete faces like this, you're going to have to close them up. Eventually, somehow you're going to have to close them up. So I'm going to close these up right now. The easiest way to do that is to extrude out edges and use target weld. Let me say that again. Extruding out edges and then merging those pieces together with target weld. So let me just kind of show you how we do it. I got a nice little hole here. Before I even start modeling to make it fit or work, I'm going to close the hole. Because this is it really bugs me. So I'm going to hit Command E, boop. I pull out an edge right here. And now I'm going to weld these to one another. So now I'm going to go to Mesh Tools, Target Weld. Boop. And Target Weld right now is set to when you release your mouse. Sorry. The one you click on is going to travel to the one you release on. Like that. Everyone see how that works? I'll do it again so I've closed this part up, but I still need to close these up. So you might think you need 2 extrusions, but this is a quad. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I only need 1 extrusion, and I just need to be a little clever with how I'm pulling those out. So I'm going to hit right here, Command E again. I'm going to pull that out. Maybe I'll shrink it. And then I just got to be very cognizant as to where I want each one of these vertices to go to. Let me pull it out a little further. There we go. So now I'm going to go back to Vertex, boop, Mesh Tools, Target Weld, and I'm going to take this vertex and put it to that guy, this vertex and put it to that guy. So the reason why I'm encouraging you, and that's still a quad, we're still safe. That's 4 sides. Doesn't look like a 4-sided shape or that we know of, but that's 4 edges. And so this is why I suggest deleting as few faces as possible, so you don't have to extrude as much on the edges, and you don't have to keep track as many vertices to target weld. If I deleted those extra 6, I'd have another space to worry about. I got one more. Did you miss what I was doing? One more time. Edge, boop. I select that edge, I extrude it out. Voila. This hole needs to be fixed. I just right click, go to vertex, and now I'm just going to go to mesh tools, target weld. The one I click on is going to go to the one I release on. Boop. So I click and hold and release. And now I have this nice little hole for this wing to spread out on. Now I'd start modeling, right? So now I'd go to vertex and I'd pull this one down. I'd grab this one, pull this one down, something like that. And then this guy here, I'm gonna pull up. It's actually in a good spot. And then this guy, I'm not gonna pull down all the way to there. I'm actually gonna do one more extrusion to kind of make it look more like a lip in a second. So that's what I would do. So that's fixing a hole. Delete the face, extrude the edge, and then target weld. This also happens if you do something where when you have that extrusion problem and you're too far in to start over, you can also delete faces and target weld to fix all sorts of issues. So once again, delete faces, extrude edges if you need to, and then target weld. There's some situations where you can just delete a face and then target weld. So I just wanted to remind you, target weld was there. We touched a little bit on the shape destroy. We didn't use it at all on TIE Fighter. It's kind of why I chose TIE Fighter. And I think that's it. So what you should be doing now is you should have the general shape, right? This is my general shape of my object. What we should be doing now is starting to add the details, like this blaster right here, this wing I'm going to work on. I'm going to work on this ridge right here and the wing jutting out. So I got a few more things to do. But a lot of you are making really good progress on your thing. So we should be moving away from the big stuff and getting down to the small stuff. And again, always try to keep your thing watertight. And if you hit 3 mode, everyone eyes up here one more time. If you hit 3 mode and you're like, ugh, that really sucks in a lot, don't worry. I have a plan to show you how to keep ridges straight and how to keep corners. You do that with edge loops, and you put a lot of edges close together, and that holds a corner in 3 mode. But don't do that. I'm purposely not showing you to that until we're like almost ready to turn these in. All right. That being said, go get to work. I'll float around and help people in a second. And remember, your images are just images. If you go a little off the image, that's fine. Right? So if you're a little off, like it's a little wider, a little skinnier, a little different location, that's totally okay. You're going to delete these image planes before you turn them in. So I'm not going to have any real reference point.